Hi everyone, it's Sunday, May 31st, time for another HideNet Week in Review. I'm Vera Dordick. So it's another week of few changes in the global hide market for pretty much all the same reasons we've listed before. With the economic recovery coming very slowly, it's likely that this isn't going to change in the short term. Of course, at the end of the week, we saw U.S. President Donald Trump go on the attack against China, promising punitive actions against the country and vowing to remove Hong Kong's beneficial status. While we don't have any idea of what specifically he's going to do and what actions this will encompass, it can't possibly mean anything good for the trade situation with China. So on that note, we'll start with the U.S. this week. Prices remained largely steady, and even with sales up a bit. However, with China still being the largest purchaser of U.S. hides, the most recent political developments could be a concern as to whether all the recent sales will ship and how business will go. Packers have been trying to push prices higher, but with the slow economic restart and rising slaughter, this has been difficult, hence the week's steady prices. Looking at sales of regular weight heavy Texas steers, they were steady with prices between $16 and $17 for seasonal weights. Turning back to slaughter, the figures have been in the focus this year because of the COVID-19 pandemic and the decline in slaughter. And here in HideNet's slaughter chart, you can see the dramatic difference in 2020 compared to the previous 2 years. For this week, the total was lower at 524,000. But this was also a short week in the U.S. because of the Memorial Day holiday, so a lower number was expected. With regard to export sales, the combined total was up at 555,900, which is actually better than we thought it would be. Combined shipments were also up at 12% more at 537,500. And while it's good to see the number rising, it would be better if this was even higher, given the big sales figures this spring. In our observations this week, we talk about the opinion that the high-end hides could be the ones at most risk in this market. Turning to Europe, editor Andrea Guolo reports from Italy on the rough start to work. The past week saw some tanneries run out of work, and since the coming week starts with a 2-day holiday on Monday and Tuesday, a number of them are taking the entire week off in hopes that the next one will start with some more orders. Nothing changed this week with regard to British or Irish ox, partly because slaughter is lower and partly because some slaughterhouses have had to temporarily close because of the pandemic. Irish ox are still at 65 cents in euros and British ox hides are still at 70 cents sterling. Once again, it was not a happy week for bulls because while many origins maintained their prices, there were marginal declines in some origins. The mid-range auto market is still at a standstill, and with some makers closing plants, it's a sad state of affairs for some tanners. Overall, the price for northern German bulls remained steady at 65 to 70 cents for the large sizes. On the cow front, a lack of demand was still an issue, and some of those origins also saw small declines. Andrea devotes his analysis to a detailed look at what is happening in Arzignano's tanneries, as well as some goings-on with luxury brands and their suppliers in Italy. From South America, editor Ronald Guiel reports from Brazil. The prices were unchanged. Fresh hides were steady at 49 cents in reals per kilo. Slaughter is down, but on the other hand, changes in the exchange rate are not working in favor of Brazilian exporters. TR1 was still steady at 53 cents per square foot. Among the other news stories from Brazil, the country's footwear sector lost 1,300 jobs in 1 week. JBS was ordered to close one of its plants for COVID-19 testing, and Rabobank estimates that Brazil will see a 1% decline in beef production this year. From elsewhere in Latin America, Guanajuato's footwear sector expects to reactivate 26,000 jobs on June 1st, tomorrow, but not without some issues. At the same time, Lear and General Motors are restarting some plants in Juarez. And also Peruvian tanneries are asking for permission from the government to restart their activities. So that's all the news we have for today, and until next week, good night from HideNet.